What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Between the Cons. My name is Chris, and with me today, the Wonder Twins.
Are you sure? Who am I?
You are the Wonder Twins. You are both the Wonder Twins.
No, this is Patrick.
Oh my gosh. Also, I love that I just cut you guys off mid-sentence to start this episode.
You did. I'm glad you did, because I would not have stopped talking.
It was fun. It was fun to catch you off guard, start an episode. But we're here today with a Topic Thunder episode for you. We're going to talk about some sweet 90s live action Nickelodeon shows.
What?
Because who didn't love those and who doesn't want to remember them? Hashtag am I right?
That's the truth.
Hashtag so lit.
So lit. Fire. But before we get started with the Topic Thunder episode, thanks to everybody that's hit us up on the internet. Thanks to everybody that's left a review on the iTunes store. And thanks to you, listener, for listening. Because that is arguably most important. To have you here, spending time with us on your commute, while you're getting ready for work, while you're doing dishes or other household chores, taking your dog for a walk, hang gliding, whatever brings you to our figurative door, we welcome you in.
Yes, with arms wide open.
Anyways, thanks again for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate having you here. But I think we've got a lot to talk about with some 90s Nick shows. So let's get down and dirty with Topic Thunder.
This is how we do it.
That was just a 90s reference, wasn't it? You just had to bring Montel Williams into the picture.
I did, because he's with Money Mutual, and you got to get your,
I don't even know how to deal with you right now.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Well, in prep for the show, the Wonder Twins and I talked through like every live action show that was on Nickelodeon in the 90s, and
like literally every live action show.
Literally every single one that even slightly aired during the 90s, including You Can't Do That on Television, which stopped airing in 1990. But we talked about a bunch of shows, and we picked a handful to like really just gush on, just reminisce on. And the first of those being, I think, one of the at least for me, the most important shows. And that would be All That.
This is all that.
And they're gonna sing every theme song for today's
episode. Probably will. If this was YouTube, which it will be on YouTube, which you guys need to listen to on YouTube, we could get hit for that.
Copyright.
That's true.
Yeah, copyright strike.
Yeah.
We're so convincing.
I know.
Convincing.
So convincing. But that show was excellent.
It was so good, and it was so interesting because it was like Saturday Night Live. Like our parents were watching Saturday Night Live in the 90s, maybe. Wasn't exactly the best time.
No.
For Saturday Night Live, but there were some winners. Jimmy Fallon, Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live in the 90s.
Adam Sandler.
Oh my gosh, Adam Sandler. Yeah. Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
So some real A players. But they were watching Saturday Night Live, and we had All That same concept, sketch TV show, but starring kids for kids. I mean, I honestly don't know where I would be today if it weren't for Vital Information.
I know. I mean, Lori Beth was just spitting the vital information, the most random things, and the entire show was just random. Like, and I think that's why it was so amusing. They would just say the most random things that made no sense whatsoever. But if you tell a kid that, they're going to laugh at it.
Yeah, and it spawned so much.
Yeah, it did.
All that was not only a ridiculous, funny show that kids could enjoy. I mean, I'm sure if I went back and watched it now, I would just be like, man, this show is dumb. Because it is that, like, goofy kid humor of, like, everything's random.
Yeah.
And doesn't really make sense. And we laugh because it's stupid and it doesn't make sense. But, like, out of all that came Kablam, the animated show, which was, like, kind of what Robot Chicken is now.
Yeah, it was.
But for a less mature audience. Action League Now, which was hilarious. Just Jordan, Zoe 101, the Nick Cannon Show, which eventually turned into Wild and Out. And where would modern television be right now if it weren't for Wild and Out?
Oh, totally.
But also the Amanda Show spawned from that, which is a show from the 90s, where Josh Peck of Drake and Josh got his start. Rest in peace.
Bell.
Rest in peace. Drake and Josh.
Never forgetty, rest in spaghetti.
Yeah, it got super awkward when Josh decided to go and get married.
It did, and get us all involved in some Instagram drama.
Man, super weird. But
it was.
But yeah, Amanda Show. And I think most importantly, out of those, out of all the spinoffs, Kenan and Kel.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Which then gave us Good Burger the movie, which was so good.
It was. It is a underappreciated classic. It just holds up so well.
And who can drink orange soda anymore without saying who loves orange soda?
Kel loves orange soda. I mean,
is it true?
I do.
Exactly. Everybody knows that. Everyone our age knows that.
Like, I think Kenan and Kel is solely responsible for the continuation of the orange soda market. Like, can you imagine
certainly
how much money they made off of orange soda? Like, those, there had to have been, like, a noticeable uptick in orange soda sales.
Bukus.
Yes.
Like, who are your favorite characters in terms of, or performers off of all that?
Well, I definitely loved Kel. Like, anything with Kenan and Kel, I loved. I went and watched Kenan and Kel afterwards. Man, that's tough. Lori Beth Denberg was one for sure. I hated Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
Lisa Foyles. Lisa Foyles was really good.
Yeah.
I really liked her. Oh man, I'm trying to think of like.
I liked Katrina Johnson.
The original crew.
Yes, like Katrina Johnson played so many. She's played the scammy lemonade sales girl.
Yeah,
she played Ross Perot.
Yeah, and she played Roseanne.
Yes.
So many weird, like, all that was such a weird melting pot of, like, grown-up culture and kid culture. They had Bill Cosby and Ross Perot, which is ironic that Keenan's first impersonation of Bill Cosby was on all that. And he carried that over to Saturday Night Live. Coach Creedon with Kel, he was pretty hilarious. Principal Pimpel and Ear Boy and
my gosh,
Super
Ear
Dude.
Boy,
yes, Super Dude, the lactose intolerant
superhero, Repair Man. So many classic characters. The Chocolate People,
Randy and Mandy.
Oh my gosh.
That was beautiful.
Chris Farley was on all that shortly before he passed away.
What was Man, what was Keenan's like Frenchman character in the
Oh,
bathtub?
Pierre
yes.
Escargot.
Pierre Escargot. Oh my gosh.
Sitting in that bathtub.
That was probably one of my favorite sketches. Like for
Yeah.
real,
Oh,
for
yeah.
real.
Oh yeah, and see, and on Kenan and Kel, like Kel's character was, I honestly loved Kel's character on Kenan and Kel, and I just have seen the clip over and over again this past year of people posting the clip of him in the courtroom being interrogated by Kenan, and him just blurting out saying, "I dropped the screw in the tuna," and for 2 minutes he just said that over and over and over again. And just when you thought he was going to stop saying it, he just started again. And it was, oh my goodness. They were just a great comedy duo that literally it affected an entire generation's style of humor.
Oh yeah. Well, and what's the guy's name? Fluffy. Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh
But-
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He had a small little run on it.
Yeah, he
It was such a good show. So created so much for us people.
really did. And honestly, thinking about kind of how you see the stories of the 90s being affected comedy wise into today, you also have shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh my gosh.
Which,
Such a good one.
and I don't know, could they do Are You Afraid of the Dark today and it still have the same vibe?
It wouldn't run for 10 years. I know that much.
No.
Um,
Mhm.
And I think, oh, man, it was such a good show. Like, I want to say it's a little too, and this is going to be silly because for anyone that's seen Are You Afraid of the Dark, know that it's like super campy and goofy. But like for a kid, like I remember that, like that jester,
Oh yeah.
and it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that show would go over as well as it did now, or as well as it did if it were to air now.
No.
And that's another one of those shows that had like a lot of great stuff come from it.
Oh yeah.
Let's say Ryan Gosling being one.
Mm-hmm.
One of his first credits is Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I loved that show. I think it was. I don't think it would do that well though. Now.
There's so many creepy things, as you mentioned, that stick in your mind from it. One of the ones for me is the creepy clown episode with the cigar smoking clown.
Uh-huh.
Was the name Zippo?
Oh no.
I don't
know.
remember. It started with a Z. Anyway, he was, and then there was the one of the crashed taxi cab with the people on like prom night or something
Yep.
of that nature. It was very creepy.
There's the one of the girl that was frozen, I believe, or that she froze to death, possibly. And I may be mixing two stories together, but she appeared to these people and kept saying, "Come play with me," and that was creepy.
Yeah, that's how you know kids are soft these days.
There's
like-
also
Kids these days couldn't watch this crap.
There's also a literal lizard people episode where the principal at a school was an actual lizard person. Really terrifying stuff. Like he's peeling his skin off at the end of the episode to reveal he's a lizard.
Or like the one in the pool at the school's like swimming pool.
Yes.
Where it was like an ancient burial ground and it had that like skin melted off ghost in it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So creepy.
That show, man. Yeah, that show would not succeed now. Like there would be so many mom complaints.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I
But-
think that it would be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean that was like a pretty common thread throughout 90s TV is there was a lot of stuff that we like that were children's shows that weren't exactly appropriate for children. Are You Afraid of the Dark was super scary. Rocco's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, like super inappropriate and gross.
Oh yeah.
And then like kind of in the same line of being super scary, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh my goodness.
It was an obstacle game show, but like I remember the mummy that pops out. Like,
oh yeah, the Guardians of the Temple.
Yeah, like it's super. Like some of that show was super scary, even though it's like an obstacle course, like game show.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, I wanted so bad to be on that show.
Oh, who didn't?
I know. Yet, like, first of all, any of you guys that know me or Madison probably know that we don't do the sports balls well. We don't. I could not. Me and athletics get along about as well as I don't know.
Nothing.
Two people
It's
that
bad.
don't. Yeah, exactly.
If you want to reminisce on our collegiate athletic career, go no further than our outing at a dodgeball tournament
Wii
as Team Fail. I mean, yes, esports is more our thing. Team Fail made it through the dodgeball tournament like none. We lost in the first round. Clearly not our fault though.
Clearly.
But honestly, that show was one, the athleticism behind it was really cool. Two, but also the factor that you just talked about, running through the actual temple, and that was so awesome. But being scared by the temple guards, that would freak me out.
Even the temple itself.
Oh man,
was horrifying. Yeah, like when his eyes would light up red and like his mouth would move. No.
You were running out of that room.
Yeah, and especially like, let's see, when did it actually air?
I think it was 96. I could be wrong.
So Legends of the Hidden Temple, 93 to 95. And they showed reruns like every day after it stopped airing. So in 93, I was 4 years old.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a 4, 5, and 6 year old watching this show, and like all I see are big kids running through this thing and like getting grabbed by these temple guards that like jump out of nowhere. Is horrifying.
It is. While Steven was just sitting beside you watching it.
Exactly.
And I think it's also funny going back into the age of YouTube and watching Shrine of the Silver Monkey fail compilations. Just how many kids had no clue how to do the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, and just
they couldn't put that monkey together.
No, man. I mean, even they made fun of that because I guess it was last year. They had, maybe it was earlier this year. Time goes by really fast when you get old. But they had a Legends of the Hidden Temple, a live action movie with Kirk Fogg reprising his role.
Came out last year, yeah.
Yeah. It was okay. You keep your expectations in check, but they had an entire section dedicated to the frustration behind the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. It was an interesting film. A lot of references to the show, but
calling it a film, I feel like is a bit of a stretch.
Probably TV movie. But in that same vein of regarding Legend of the Hidden Temple, we also had another very popular game show called Double Dare.
Yeah.
Which featured Mark Summers, who we all know now has crippling OCD. And this show must have been a nightmare for him to film in the wake of that.
I feel terrible for him, like looking behind the scenes clips of it. Like, I feel absolutely terrible he was having to film this show.
But I mean, he really stuck it out. Like, it's clear he really loved what he did. I mean, in the sense of he's definitely was a good sport about it. It's such a unusual show. I mean, basically asking quiz questions and then little different feats, and yeah, those were fun and all. But of course, where it was at was the end obstacle course, which featured things like sticking your arm up a giant nose full of green slime, to running on a hamster wheel for a flag, to sliding down sliding down a slide with a bunch of
Whipped
gunk
cream.
on it, whipped cream on
Man.
it. Just so much mess the show would have you go
So let's
through.
be real. How many times did you guys apply to be on the show?
None.
We should have.
Pansies. My brother and
Yeah.
I applied so many times.
Oh my
Because you could
God.
do like what was it? It wasn't like box tops, but it was something that you like. Maybe it's Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I bet
Like
it would
like
be.
little Kool-Aid stamps. You collect the Kool-Aid stamps and you mail them off, and like 10 Kool-Aid stamps enters you into the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
You know what the dirty little secret of like Legend of the Hidden Temple and Double Dare type shows were? Most of the kids were from the Orlando area.
Yeah, so they didn't have to fly them in.
Exactly. So it's like kids would talk about being on Legend of the Hidden Temple to be
Or
like,
even Nick Arcade.
or Nick Arcade, and they'd be like, "You want a trip to Universal Studios?" And it's like, "Oh, great! I want a trip to my house."
Sweet. Six blocks from my apartment. Great.
Yeah. So I mean, Double Dare is just so iconic, and I think it recently had its 30th anniversary. I believe that's correct.
Yeah, 1986 was when it first aired.
Yeah, so it's just wild to consider that. That was so iconic in terms of just the amazing amount of mess and just fun of just getting sticky and gross.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things about it is there was a family aspect to it.
yeah,
So it wasn't just like kids playing, but like the concept of like going and playing like in all of this like gross kid stuff with your family. Like
yeah.
like the one thing I think about was the nose, like sticking your hand up the nose.
Yeah.
And then there was one where you had to like brush the teeth of a giant mouth, and it was like
Yes.
covered in gross stuff, and once it was clean it would open and you could grab the flag. Like it was such a cool concept for a game show, especially a game show like aimed towards kids. We just don't have anything like that. Like we don't have kids game shows, I don't think.
And an interesting side note, the Mall of America in Minneapolis has
Or they did have.
it's back for the summer, but they have Nick Universe there, which is Nickelodeon's theme park within the Mall of America. And I think during the summer for a short span, they're having a mini Double Dare experience. And by mini, I mean they have like two things from Double Dare that are on a small scale, like the nose flag thing, and then kind of like the rolling pin thing going down the slide. So they've got a mini Double Dare experience there.
Huh.
It definitely doesn't live up to the grandeur of its predecessor, but it's still interesting. It lives on in a small way there.
Yeah, and I just googled like kids game shows.
Yeah.
And everything that popped up are like the shows we're talking about. Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare, Nickelodeon Guts, Nick Arcade. And then so I changed it to search current kids game shows. One of them is Big Star's Little Star, which is the like American
Lifetime,
Idol
isn't it?
kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
not American Idol. It's like America's Got Talent for kids.
hmm
And then Webheads, whatever that is, but it's a Nickelodeon game show.
Wow.
Which is just kidding. It stopped airing in 2015. The Toy Box, which I've actually seen an episode of, it is not a game show for kids. It is a game show for adults where kids are the judges.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
people that do toy design bring them in, and these kids play with the toys, and then they pick a toy to actually get created. I think Mattel is who like fronts it. So Mattel, like any toy that actually makes it through the kid vetting process, is gets produced. But that's not a kids game show. That's just a game show that has kids on it.
Yeah.
So there aren't really any game shows for kids. And I mean, you look back at the 90s and you had Double Dare, Guts, Wild and Crazy Kids,
Figure it out.
Figure It Out, Nick Arcade, Um, there's another one. I know I'm missing another one. Legends of the Hidden Temple. We just talked about. What were you about to say? What would you do?
What would
that was
you
the
do?
other one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What would you do?
Mm-hmm. So it's so interesting that doesn't exist anymore, and it kind of makes you. I wonder if I don't want to get too preachy, but it kind of seems like it's a generational thing.
Yep, it does. It absolutely does.
Like, would kids not be interested in that? Like participating?
I think if they actually tried it again, I think it would actually possibly be something they could do, but I guess the networks just don't see a value in it. I don't know.
They probably don't want to spend money on prizes, if you want to know what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to cut...
Price is Right has been doing it for 1,000 years.
Yeah. I think that's something they should really revisit, is quality kids game shows.
Yeah.
With jumping from game shows to probably two of the most iconic live action kind of more, not in the vein of All That or even Are You Afraid of the Dark, but kind of character driven live action shows. Multi-camera. Salute Your Shorts.
The Firefly of Nickelodeon.
Yes, it is.
Gone too soon.
It was gone too soon after 26 episodes.
I mean, and it's honestly probably, for those of us that maybe didn't have the woodland camp experience of other kids, it really was a way to live vicariously through the experience of summer camp. But
yeah, oh yeah.
It was, and there are so many iconic characters in that show, between Ugg, the counselor, Bobby Butnick, Donkey Lips, Sponge, Dina,
oh my gosh,
Telly, Dee Dee. I mean, so many. They were all very much one-dimensional characters in a sense of it, but they all were so full of life, and the interactions were just brilliant.
Like, the only character that did not have a personality was Michael, and then he got replaced in that season by Pinsky. And so by the end of it, everybody had a personality.
Which, I mean, it just worked out really well. And there's so many iconic. Of course, the theme song is very iconic. The whole awful waffle thing, which is basically, they never really covered it too great, but essentially it was a tennis racket on your stomach, and they coat your stomach in syrup while a tennis racket is on top of it.
But it was an excellent show.
It was,
or an excellent theme, because it captured that camp song vibe. Like, it actually felt like a camp song.
It did. And then it had its own, I mean, it had so many kind of iconic moments, like Zeke the Plumber, which is so freaky. Like, if you had a terrifying thing of
a plumber sucking your face off with
his plunger, and then he had his nose bitten off by a bird.
Right.
Pretty terrifying. The episode where I think it was Butnick and was it Pinsky, or was it Butnick and Michael? Butnick and Michael stuck in the nurse's office all day while everybody else got to go out on a trip, and how they did like a huge 1,000-piece puzzle and then like put enough foil on the television to like catch, maybe it was Spanish television. I don't know. It's just,
yeah, they did a 1,000-piece puzzle upside down with the pieces all facing away.
Right.
And ironically, the puzzle was of ice cream, which made them want ice cream out of the nurse's freezer.
Such
the episode,
a good show.
It was, and they did capture the flag also.
Oh, that
I love
was
the capture the flag.
That's
episode.
like the ultimate. Like, that's what all of us wished Capture the Flag could have been, instead of just us in our friend's front yard quibbling over who crossed the boundary, who shouldn't have. It was just so much greatness.
That show was incredible.
It was. And the other one that really comes to mind, it's personal for me, is Pete and Pete, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. And going back once again to that just offbeat, quirky 90s humor.
Oh, yeah.
Just totally randomness. I mean, from the credits. I mean, when you see the theme song is a '90s rock theme song, very much like Hootie and the Blowfish, reminiscent of it. And you go through the credits and you see a kid with a tattoo. The tattoo gets its own theme song credit. Mom's metal plate gets its own credit.
So good.
A superhero wearing striped spandex and Buddy Holly glasses gets its own credit. It's from the front from going into the show that what you're getting into is not your normal sitcom.
Right.
And it really I think it really molded what a kid's production could be, that it could be humorous to both kids and adults, and kind of turn a suburban lifestyle into a strange plot point reality.
I will say this. Two things about Pete and Pete, or the adventures of Pete and Pete. Trying to watch Pete and Pete now, knowing what Danny Tamborelli grew up to look like is horrifying.
It is.
And I would also like to thank Pete and Pete for my entire childhood crush and well into my teens as well of Michelle Trachtenberg.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, it wasn't her first gig, but she definitely stuck around with me. I mean, she did Harriet the Spy after that. And then moving on into, she was Penny in Inspector Gadget, and she was in 6 Feet Under and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, I had some serious crushing on Michelle Trachtenberg, and
yes.
all thanks to Pete and Pete. So thank you, 90s live action Nickelodeon, for that.
Well, and it's so crazy because her character was the girl with a cast. I mean, it was Nona F. Mecklenburg, if I'm not mistaken. But she had a cast on, like that one kid that always has the cast on. You have crazy things. They took the simple things of life and made them absolutely bizarro.
Right.
Like a trip to the Hoover Dam, one of the first episodes. Never been a trip like that ever, I don't think, with a roof stacking competition.
Mr. Tasty, the mysterious ice cream man that constantly wears the mask, and just appears at the start of summer and leaves at the end of summer.
There's so many made up character names.
Yes.
Like when you have a school play, but you want to make sure every kid has a role.
Oh, yeah.
Emma the lunch lady. Oh man, there were so many like that. Mr. Beverly the janitor.
Oh yeah, the math teacher. She was. Who was she played by?
Sid Straw.
Yes, Sid Straw was played.
Iggy Pop. There's so many legends that were also appeared on the show. I think. Was it? I know Iggy Pop was on the show.
Yeah, it was Michelle Trachtenberg's dad, known as Dad.
I'm trying to think who else was on the show.
BB Newworth. She played the mail lady.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, Stu the bus driver was played by I don't remember.
Oh man, okay.
I'm just looking through it now. Like Selma Blair, LL Cool J,
Steve Buscemi,
Adam West was the principal for 2 episodes.
Right. Hunter S. Thompson, very shocking one there. Yeah, it's Chris Elliott before his breakout. I mean, there's just so many kind of legends
Steve
there.
Buscemi. Good grief.
Didn't he play? He played Ellen's dad, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a
yes.
Steve
Yeah. He was Phil Hickel.
Yes,
father of Ellen Josephine.
Yes, there's so many. I mean, there's so many stories, so many.
Like the flashlight tag episode.
Oh yeah.
my gosh.
The episode of the ringing phone that never stops ringing. The one that really sticks with me every time it's daylight savings time. That episode sticks with me when Endless Mike convinces Big Pete to go take Ellen to the movie with the car, and then he messes it all up because Endless Mike's a creeper. And then it's like, well, you can reverse time. You spring forward, fall back, and little Pete gets a total rush from actually going back in time an hour from. So they make even the mundane things like daylight savings time. And I always think to myself at daylight savings time, oh, I've got an hour to redo whatever it is in life that I messed up, even though it doesn't really work like that. But just so much.
Oh, the shop teacher episode with his fake hand. Oh my gosh.
So many good memories.
They're Artie, of course. Artie, the breakout there, really. So underappreciated in modern culture, but he's by far the best superhero. Marvel and DC has nothing on Artie, the strongest man in the world. He's able to move an entire house's foundation. I mean, the man is crazy strong.
Whatever happened to him? I'm so surprised that he hasn't come back around.
Showed up in the MCU. I'm shocked. Well, and I'm also shocked they never released season 3, the DVD set of season 3. That really ticked me off.
Oh, really?
They only released the first 2 seasons,
and supposedly, according to Will McRobb and Chris Viscardi, they printed season 3. Season 3 was fully completed with commentary, boxed and ready to ship, and then something happened with Paramount where they just completely never shipped it. So we're going on like 10 years. Look it up online. This has been people wondering for 10 years when season 3's coming out. And apparently it's just sitting in a warehouse somewhere ready to be shipped. And
that's crazy.
So yeah.
I bet those would sell for so much once they actually, like, if they actually do ship.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there are a lot of episodes and shows themselves that we really, you could even just glaze over them. And we could take 30 or 45 minutes on each episode if we wanted to, really and truly, of each show. You think about shows towards the early 90s, like Clarissa Explains It All.
Right. Ferguson.
Ferguson. That member of the Young Republicans. And Melissa Joan Hart, of course, got her start on that show. Roundhouse is one that's not really mentioned a great deal because it was a weird format show. It was half sketch comedy, half dance. That was a weird one that took place.
All Roundhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. You had Alex Mack, or The Secret Life of Alex.
Secret World.
Yeah, thank you. Secret World of Alex Mack, of course, with her changing into a silver blob. I don't know that the CG would hold up these days.
Yeah.
If we went back and watched it.
It would probably be like better.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Of course, you had Hey Dude also.
Yeah.
Which was early 90s. You had What Would You Do as well.
Funny fact, you can get the complete series of Hey Dude at Walmart. So if that's your thing, if Mr. Ed and Danny are your thing in life, by all means, go buy the complete series at Walmart.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
You'll probably realize it didn't hold up that well, but that's okay.
But the girls, it always confused me because... go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, one of the things I'm kind of sad we didn't talk about, Animorphs.
Oh, yeah.
Animorphs got axed.
That was wow.
Animorphs had, I think the first season was like 20-something episodes. And then
they went all in.
And then I if I'm remembering right, the second season got axed like halfway through.
Well, wasn't the guy who played in X-Men, the first trilogy, who played the Frozen guy?
Oh, Shawn Ashmore. Yeah.
Yeah, Shawn Ashmore got his start in Animorphs, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a twin.
That's true.
So I'm really terrible. If the Ashmore twins are listening, either of them, I apologize. because I can never remember
It was
one's
Sean.
which
Sean
one's
was in.
which.
Yeah,
But there's-
Sean was in
Yeah,
Animorphs.
and then there's Aaron Ashmore, and Aaron Ashmore was in Smallville, Warehouse 13, Killjoys. I think he was also. No, Sean was the one that had the video game, Quantum Break. Yeah, but
So
it's
there is hope
really
for twins
funny.
in
But it's really funny. If you go to their Twitter pages, their bio is like Aaron's bio is not Sean Ashmore, and Sean's is not Aaron Ashmore.
Oh my goodness.
Because, like, even looking at pictures of them side by side, it's like they are harder to tell apart than the Wonder Twins.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't tell them apart.
You guys, especially with age, have started drifting apart from the way, like, from how similar you guys look. But the Ashmore twins, I mean, they look very, very similar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's,
Well, they have access to plastic surgery also, so there's that too. I'm just saying.
I don't know if they're making each other or making themselves look more like each other though.
Well, that's true.
But Animorphs was so dope. Really, really short run. I think all in all, it was maybe 25 episodes or so. Based on like the coolest books we had as children. But yeah, what else was there? I think we kind of hit everything.
We mentioned what would you do in brief. Well, we already mentioned several of these. We're not going to mention My Brother and Me because that was a terrible show.
He says mentioning My Brother.
Yeah.
Blue's Clues got its start.
Oh, that's true.
In
Guys,
the 90s.
Steve did not die of a drug overdose. I mean,
Right.
if you're still believing that, you need to
The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo. That was one as well.
Yeah.
Eureka's Castle.
Oh man,
I love the puppets from Eureka's Castle.
Eureka's Castle. That's kind of a stretch because it was a puppet show.
Oh, that's
But
true.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't all. Yeah.
we do
weird.
still have
That was a
our
weird
Pizza
show.
Hut hand puppets of Eureka's Castle.
Yeah, we have our Eureka's
What?
Castle hand puppets
Oh
from
my
Pizza
gosh.
Hut.
That's crazy.
We do. Yeah, Gullah Gullah Island.
Cousin Skeeter
Oh.
with the guy that played Famous Jet Jackson, right?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
No,
No.
it was. Oh, what's his name? This is gonna drive me nuts. Robert Ricard
That's right. You're right.
is his name. He was
Mhm.
in Coach Carter, House of Wax. He was on an episode of iZombie. He was on an episode of a lot of shows, actually. But that was like a live action show that had the main character was a puppet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, good 90s live action shows. What was your favorite, people of the internet that are listening? What did we miss that or what did we not harp on that you felt we should have? Hit us up on the internets, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram machines, and let us know what's your favorite stuff. For me, I don't know if I can pick, but I think we talked about all my favorites.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tie for me between all that and Pete and Pete. Like with a little bit of Salute Your Shorts. I think those three.
Yeah.
Well, Legend of the Hidden Temple's really good too.
Yeah, it's just kind of they're all different types of shows, so it's hard to pick like which one's better.
Yeah. The variety's outstanding.
Yeah, for sure. But let us know what's your favorite. We're going to stop talking about it now, and we're going to talk about some jams.
What's your jam?
Okay, this is where we talk about jams. So, I guess my jam,
I like strawberry preserves.
Yeah, that's a pretty good jam. Well, that's a
Oh.
preserve. That's not exactly a jam.
Oh, that's true. That's
Sure. Oh man.
Well, we got two. We may have three technically, but one is we have been watching Rugrats. We got the newly released season 1 DVD.
Speaking of 90s Nickelodeon.
I know it is, and this is the crazy thing. I did not realize this. Rugrats was released back in the 2000s on DVD, and the first few seasons, some of the copies, the U.S. editions, are selling for $500 on eBay.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm so glad they decided to re-release it, and we just happened upon it by accident that they started re-releasing the first and second season. So we've been buying that, and we've actually started watching the first season. That's been good. Our friend Monica bought us some awesome DC dinner napkins, which are really random. I've never seen anything like it, but you hold them in a collar, and they make you look like Superman or Wonder Woman as you eat. It's... so don't ever let anybody tell you I didn't say something nice about DC.
It's good for catching my food.
It is. It is.
And yeah, those are pretty good things. I had to buy a solid state drive for a customer this week. 2 terabyte solid state drives are very expensive, kids. So let's hope that drops in price.
Jeez.
So I look forward to installing that and getting the large amounts of speed for my client. But yeah,
Just doing lots of speed.
Oh yeah, lots of speed, lots of speed. Yeah. So that's I guess sort of a jam.
We've been playing Paper Mario Color Splash on Wii U, which is technically dead, but it's been a really good game. We suggest it if
we
you get
need
it.
a Switch.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like 4 jams, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
that's a lot of jams.
That is a lot of jams. I don't know. We just couldn't make up our mind. Your turn.
So my jam is something I've actually had on my Amazon wish list for 4 years, I think.
I didn't know you'd been waiting on them to release a Blu-ray of Glitter that long.
Yeah, it just took so long. I don't understand why.
I know.
No, it's been on my Amazon wish list for a long time, and I didn't. It's one of those things where like you want to buy it, but you can't really justify the purchase.
Yeah.
So it is the ultimate collector's edition of the Die Hard movie franchise.
Oh wow.
And it's 100 bones. I mean, it's $100, so understandably not an easy purchase to make. But the coolest thing about it, it's actually 100. I just looked it up again. It's $130.
Ooh.
6 discs, 5 movies, and 1 disc of just special features. Comes in this really sweet collector's box, with like inserts for each of the villains, and it's all housed inside of this really awesome miniature replica of Nakatomi Plaza.
Awesome.
Now, if anyone knows anything about me, it is I have an unrealistic and borderline weird love for the Die Hard movies. I will argue up and down 6 ways from Sunday that there is not a bad Die Hard movie. And I will argue that to the death. But
You should have a good Topic Thunder on that one day.
oh, I will. But this $130 box set was on sale. My wife found it on sale for $38.
What?
Dang.
And as a surprise, she bought it for me. And
Oh.
and didn't wait a second. Like immediately told me about it and then got it with like standard shipping, so it took 5 to 7 days to get here.
Oh.
And I was just like, I need it. But I'm super pumped about it. It is so cool. I love it so much. It's like the full Nakatomi Tower, with all the movies. I don't own any of the movies on Blu-ray. I have like the digital copies of all of them. So it's really cool to have like the actual Blu-ray copies of the movies. I love it. It's my jam. It is so much my jam. Like nothing else could even possibly come close to being my jam, because this thing is so my jam.
So every week from now on, when you have a jam, it's going to be this.
Just
you're
over and over
restate
again.
The whole thing. I don't blame you.
I'm just gonna talk about whatever Die Hard movie I watched that week, because I guarantee you, Michael Ann doesn't know this yet, but we're about to start a Die Hard marathon.
Oh my goodness!
And then
one Die Hard movie a night.
And then whenever you get done with all of the movies, you can start reading your Die Hard fan fiction on the podcast. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that's your thing.
I don't have any of that. I do always tell people that if I were to meet a single celebrity, it would be Bruce Willis. And if I got to pick what we did, the only thing we would do is he would punch me in the face hard enough, hear me out, hard enough to break my nose, and I would not get it set.
Wow.
Because I would want to be able to tell the story, and I would need a video. I would need somebody to video it. I would tell the story that Bruce Willis punched me in the nose and broke my nose, and that is why my nose is goofy looking.
That would be beautiful.
And that is what my day with Bruce Willis would be. Like, maybe we go to lunch and we hang out and like talk a little bit, but when it's all said and done, he breaks my nose.
I think that would work well.
That is my ideal celebrity meetup.
Can the entire thing be set over a montage of Tiny Tim's having a wonderful time?
Absolutely not.
Living in the sunlight, living in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. I think that'd be a good setting thing while he punches your nose. And...
I don't. That's not gonna happen.
Okay, I'll save it for my montage.
There you go. You do whatever you want with your montage.
Okay.
Just stay out of my Bruce Willis punching me in the face video.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my jam. It's a really sweet, really sweet box set. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's everything for the show today. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, check out Patreon, Satchel, and Amazon. You go to betweenthecons.com and type in any of those links, and it'll take you out to that site. Check out our website, betweenthecons.com. You can stream our episodes online, link out to our social media sites, read a bunch of cool stuff that I type. If you like our theme music, check out Afixa. He makes sweet dubstep sounds, and you can find him at betweenthecons.com/bandcamp. That'll redirect you to his music page. And then make sure you guys subscribe. We do this every Monday and Thursday, releasing fresh content for you. So subscribe, don't miss out. It's a good time. It's a good time. You really don't want to miss it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You have a great week, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Life in the fast lane.